Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today we're following up on an estimate that we did where we replaced that pump here in the backyard. We're in Oviedo, Florida. Rather windy morning here in Central Florida. Northwest wind, pretty breezy if you like to windsurf. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started. What we're doing is, review. What's been happening is, you can see the wall here on the pool. They did a beautiful job designing this pool. They've got the nice fountain, and it actually has some contour, going up higher here. But what that did was created problems as it rains. Water comes down, and it just floods right into the lanai, almost into the house. During the hurricane, this was a foot underwater. And what we've got to do is replace the system that they've already put in. Remember, the landscapers put a sump pump in here, and you can see the white pipes, the discharge going out to the street, and you can see two inlets. One's from this catch basin, and the other one is from the downspout. Pretty straightforward. They did a great job. Unfortunately, what they did was they buried the sump basin, and that caused the wire from the pump to get hot and go bad. You should always have access to your pump and your basin, and keep that pump and wire so you can be that above ground. So what we're going to do is, back here where Joe's starting to dig, we're going to take that sod off. We're going to put in catch basins and French drain. Remember, French drain is underground, picks up subsurface water, and catch basins pick up immediate surface water runoff. So right there at the step, we'll have a catch basin to help pick up that water as it comes down, and then it goes into the French drain. Another catch basin somewhere along here comes along. We'll probably keep this existing catch basin, put another one on the other side of the sidewalk, tie the channel drain into it, come through, take the downspout into the same pipe, and we're going to cut this concrete. We're going to put the new sump basin right here by the door, and then we'll have it, they're going to put a GFI outlet right here. We'll have a place to plug it in. Then we'll cut some more concrete and send it out here where we'll tie into the existing discharge line as it goes out to the street. So Joe's taking the sod off. We're trying to see if we can keep things as neat as possible. But remember that when you do this, you are excavating. You just have to do what you have to do to get that pipe down in the ground. But still, if you can cut your sod off, we're kind of lucky. We're going to put that dirt into the wheelbarrow here, take it over, and again, we're going to fill up this old sump basin so they don't have to worry about it ever collapsing. French drain comes along, a couple of catch basins under this sidewalk, hook up this downspout. You can see I've got this all set up. We're ready to cut some concrete over to the sump basin. Immediately after you've worked beside a wall or doors, wash that off right away. Give it a good rinse, and you'll probably have to go over it with your hand because that Portland cement, it's sticky stuff. But get it, the most of it off of there, and then we'll clean up this bottom area. Get it out of the way. So to remove your concrete, what you do is, if you've got a pry bar, you can definitely rent a jackhammer, but I'm telling you, a pry bar works really good. What you want to do is cut off about a foot section, and you are the human jackhammer. So what you're going to do is go ahead and just pound it. You can see how quickly that cracked. It's just that simple. Then you use the pry bar, move it over, and you can lift it up if you're by yourself. If you've got a helper, they can pick it up and they'll put it in the wheelbarrow. So make about 1 foot sections. You can see it just cracks so quickly. Just pound down through it and you pry it right up out of there. Real nice. This is only a 3-inch pour, so relatively easy. Remember, this is just a patio, a sidewalk area. Works the same in a driveway. It's a 4-inch pour, and it's exactly the same. If you need a jackhammer, of course, you can definitely get one, but look how easy this is. Each piece weighs about, what, 40 pounds? 30 pounds maybe, depends on how big you crack it. What you're going to do is take your concrete, haul it away, or maybe you have a place that you can build a wall with it. I mean, be creative.
Fire pit.
Yeah, fire pit, anything. There's a lot of uses for recycled concrete. So over here where you saw me put the lid, the sump basin is going to go right here. And definitely, I made an extra cut so that they can get this big piece out of here. We might need to make one more. Hard part of all this really is when you get up here to the wall, the concrete saw can't really get all the way up to the wall. So hopefully we've got enough that it cut through it and we can pop these pieces right out of here. So in that big square is where we're putting the sump basin, and that came out of there pretty nice. We just have about 10 feet more to go, and hopefully it all comes out really just exactly the same, real nice. Yep, see how quickly that cracks and how easy. I mean, a pry bar does the same thing, but just a couple of hits with that, a jackhammer does the same thing, but just a couple of hits with your pry bar and it pops it right out of there. I get all these comments of, you should use this and you should use that. All I can say is the things that we use, they work. And definitely we try new things, but there's no reason to. So you can see my concern was, here's that electrical conduit. It's coming down and it went under the concrete, and the concrete saw cuts 4 inches. And luckily we did not cut this conduit, so it's all in good tack. We have to go under that, but that shouldn't be a problem. When you call and get utilities located, they do not locate private utilities. So everything was located on the other side. There are no utilities over here, but there are private utilities. If you are aware of them, be careful. So we found that old kind of a sump basin. I have no idea what the basin actually is, but they had a pump down in there, and the landscapers, when they came in here, they just went around it, but we need to remove it to get it out of our way. So apparently, they had this problem for a while, and this is the 3rd time that they're working on it. Hopefully we get this right. So we pulled out their makeshift basin, and again, necessity is the mother of invention, but if you're going to do something, you've got to make it last. This is an old planter. If you take a look at it closely, we'll turn it upside down, or right side up. That was an old planter, and someone put it in as a sump basin. They had the pump down in there. Whoops. But anyways, we got that out. Chuck's done a nice job of getting this trench down. This is fairly deep because we're actually running back uphill to come over here to the sump basin. And then of course the pump's going to lift it up, send it out. And you can see over here, here is the discharge line, which is 1.5 inch PVC, so we can easily tie back into this. We'll put a check valve or cut it off or whatever, so that water can only go one direction, and it comes all the way out to the street. So what we're doing right here is looking for, we need to put a drain over here, it looks like. I can see the water trying to move across. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it looks like we do need a drain right there, maybe right here. So let's make a cut, come across. So things are coming together pretty well. What we're doing right now is going ahead and securing these couplings, because there's so many fittings right there. There's the connection from the French drain to the catch basin to a T, and then making sure that things don't come apart. We usually like to put set screws in there, but we've got a couple of catch basins back here. That green pipe is 6-inch SDR 35. We use that to extend our catch basin back to the right grade. we can put it on as many as we want, and we'll be able to put the grate back on the top. So 3 catch basins on this side. We're going to put another one right over here at the end of the channel drain to pick up channel drain and cut this piece of channel drain out of there, get that out. Then we were going to put a T on it right here to connect the downspout, but I think what we'll do is put a separate line back through there, because this just doesn't have a whole lot of fall and we're getting pretty deep. Otherwise we have to extend that pit deeper. We may have to do that. Is going ahead and securing these couplings, because there's so many fittings right there. There's the connection from the French drain to the catch basin to a T, and then making sure that things don't come apart. We usually like to put set screws in there. But we've got a couple of catch basins back here. That green pipe is 6-inch SDR 35. We use that to extend our catch basin back to the right grade. We can put it on as many as we want, and we'll be able to put the grate back on the top. So 3 catch basins on this side. We're going to put another one right over here at the end of the channel drain to pick up channel drain and cut this piece of channel drain out of there, get that out. Then we were going to put a T on it right here to connect the downspout, but I think what we'll do is put a separate line back through there, because this just doesn't have a whole lot of fall and we're getting pretty deep. Otherwise we have to extend that pit deeper. We may have to do that, but let's see what we have. And then from the sump basin, all the water that we've collected goes into that basin. We're going to lift that water up with a sump pump and then come out through this trench where it comes under the fence and around the concrete, and we'll cut off this pipe. This was the old discharge, and we'll put our new 1.5 inch right onto there, which pumps it all the way out to the street. Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. This is day 2 here on this job in Oviedo, Florida, a suburb of Charlotte. What we're doing, if you remember from yesterday, is we're fixing some of the drainage here. And let's take a look at what's going on here. So this is a really great job for the do-it-yourselfer. Save 5, 6, 8,000 or more when you do this yourself. Be prepared when you work in a very confined space. You can see the fence and the house. We cut concrete back there, and yeah, it's going to get really dirty. The cleanup is tremendous, but we're almost to that point that you've been waiting for, is to do the finish, and that's the concrete. But a great job for the do-it-yourselfers. So we're going to go ahead and set up the sump basin here, and we already used this pump when we came here the first time just to give them temporary relief, but it sets up the same way. This is a Zoeller M98. It's got a check valve on it to keep the water from coming back down into the pit. Already drilled the 4-inch inlet line, which we showed you just a second ago. That's bringing all the water from the backyard and the downspout into the sump basin. Sump pump's going to lift it up and send it out. I've also already drilled a 2-inch discharge line, because we're going to come out with 2-inch pipe and send it out all the way out to the street. So let's go ahead and make some of these plumbing connections. Okay, from the sump pump basin, from the pit itself, we come up 1.5 inches. Remember, we've got a check valve. This is a Zoeller M98. Half horsepower, pushes about 60 to 80 gallons a minute. Comes up 90s through the riser. Use a no hub here so we can take this apart in the future, because we are going under concrete. Then we've got Schedule 40 PVC. It runs out, goes through underneath the fence. On the other side of the fence, used a no hub here because it's a little offset. That gives you just a little bit of play. Comes around 90s, picks up, and you can see the old discharge line, which is 1.5 inches. We tied into that, comes right to it. That line we've already cleaned the other day, and it goes all the way out to the street. Okay, so we're getting ready to pressure wash. We just, all we really want to do is to get our area relatively clean. Homeowner's going to always come back and rework the area, but we want to try to get it, where we can make it presentable. We put all the sod back. All that sod will settle. We worked on the other side as well. So everything's really ready to go. We're just going to go ahead and start pressure washing. So over here on the other side of the deck, went ahead and said we'd do a couple things over here. You can see the channel drain coming across. It actually all drains that direction, but of course some would come this way. they put a catch basin over here, and that thing comes out and goes to another sump basin underground, which is going to have to be replaced in the future. But this stuff is costly work when you pay somebody to do it. So what we're going to do is right here at the end of this channel drain, it's right here, we're going to try to get this clean for them a little bit. It's just packed with dirt. We're going to put a catch basin right here, and here is the pipe that goes over to the sump basin. We can attach our catch basin directly to this pipe right here, which is going to run over to the basin, and that thing goes out to the other side of the house. I don't know where. They'd have to, pay us to explore it. Okay, so we put a T on here, attached it to the existing catch basin line, which is running over to a sump pump that's buried somewhere over there. And what we're doing is put a small catch basin on it, a small drain, just to help pick up that channel drain, because it really just had no place to go, just full of dirt. That'll just help pick some of that water up and get it into their existing system. Okay, so we've got pretty much everything installed. You can see our catch basin. We actually used a piece of 6-inch as our riser. This is also available at Lowe's. This is 6-inch SDR 35, but 6-inch PVC will also work. SDR 35 is a thin-walled, very heavy-duty thin wall, but it fits perfectly into the basin. So we've extended those up. I can show you over here. Each one we extended up just a little ways. But your grate, you can see how it sits inside the rim of the catch basin, and your grate slides right inside of that. Snap it in place, you're all set. So the last thing we're going to do is put this this is like a floor drain. So we're going to put a floor drain here in the concrete. It's going to come around, tie into the sump basin. We set the sump basin back there, leveled it, and we're ready to just totally backfill here, clean the area up, and we'll go ahead and pressure wash it, and we will be able to pour our concrete. Again, this is a great project for the do-it-yourselfer. Granted, I've got two really great guys that work, on my crew, and we get things done relatively fast. The hardest part about doing this type of job is that you're in a confined space, and it definitely will make a mess. Make sure you've got, ample things to make your cleanup, pressure washer, those type of things, and be prepared for a lot of cleanup, because that takes longer than the whole job. But we are almost to the point, if you take a look behind me there, we're almost to the point where we're ready to pour that concrete. That's the last thing that you'll do on any type of concrete work, is you're going to pour your concrete. Everything has to be clean before you get to that point. So make sure everything's ready to go. So about an hour of cleaning here, and we'll be ready to start mixing some concrete. So with your pressure washer, if you have one, you just go ahead and start cleaning off. Just hit it lightly, let the rain do the rest. Now try to get it as clean as you can. So pressure washers work pretty good, but it sure takes a long time to get things clean. But we'll get it off of there. Okay, so we've power washed the area, and we're getting ready to mix our concrete. Should go in there pretty quick. We've got a spot over here, and of course the long trench around the basin, where we put the discharge pipe, and we'll be done. So if you remember why we did this job, number one reason for them was that, of course, water comes down this hill dramatically when it rains, and raining hard, it floods quickly across like a flash flood, and just ended up really in that corner, and also flooded into the lanai, almost into the house. But during a nor'easter, when we have days and days of rain, or any place that you have 2 or 3 days of rain, water builds up in the ground. This is the groundwater, and when that water table's high, water can't come down through the soil. It has no place to go. Then flash floods really occur. That's when you hear the warnings from NOAA, the Weather Channel. So during a flash flood, basically, the groundwater is already so high that no more water can be caught by the soil, and it just races across the soil. Here on this particular property, number one, we tried to solve the problem of flooding, because it comes down here and floods through this area into the house, into the lanai. But if you look carefully, you see all the cracks along this pool. You can see them in the concrete. They're all over along the walls. This is water pressure, groundwater. And what it's doing is it's rising up and it's pressing against the side, pushes against the concrete. And you can see what it does. It cracks concrete really quick. No matter how thick it is, it makes no difference. Same thing would occur, alongside the foundation. When you see us do a foundation drain, the reason being is they've got problems inside. Usually hardwood floors are starting to buckle, but groundwater rises up and it creates pressure. It's like a heart. It starts to pump and it pushes against a solid concrete surface and begins to crack things. It will eventually push itself right through. Concrete's actually very porous, right through the concrete, and then you have problems with your hardwood floors. That's a good mix there.
I got the next one if you want.
Looks like Chuck sprayed this with oil because it's all coming right out, man.
Double spray. I swear that would be a good idea.
It's a great idea. So, mixing your concrete, get a nice, good consistency, put it into your trench. Pretty simple stuff. I like to just go ahead and slice the edge. That way I know it's going to be a nice finish and it'll adhere. Then you screed it. Take your excess off, move it on down, and you're going to finish that off. But screed it off. And you just come back and kind of smooth it out. If you've made a too wet of a mix or too dry of a mix, either one, what we want to do is get the Portland cement to the top, and all you got to do is tap it, and you can see it starts to turn to water. Real simple. That's what's going to be the finish. Excuse me. Continue this process all the way through and you're done. That simple. Okay, so we've got our system installed, concrete back. There's a drain there. It's got some tape over top of it. Just made a little holes for in case it does rain. Poured the concrete back, basin in place, and we're all done. So this should really help this out dramatically. When it rains, we'll find out. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.